guys, today I'm gonna show you some pros and cons of the Canon 1300D, and also if you want to buy this camera, it does come with an 18 to 55mm lens, which I do have here. This is the lens here. So this is the 18, and that's the 55. So it's quite good. It's quite a good lens to start with if you're a beginner. This camera is a full beginner friendly one. That's why I got it in the beginning of my photography. It's always good. Like, it's in terms of reviews I've seen, and or even the reviews I've seen from now to research it even more when I started, people liked it, and people really liked it. And so with this camera, the functions of it are always easy. Canons are pretty simple to use. Is what most people that I'm friends with, they mostly said Canons are pretty simple to use, and it's always straightforward. In terms from other brands, I never use other brands, so don't get angry at me in the comments, please. I'm just saying that Canons for me were quite simple when I clicked with it. And with this camera, it does have like a Wi-Fi function, and it's also when you're starting out, it also has an app called Canon's Camera Connect, which is all right to use. It just has to be able to have a smartphone to connect the camera and stuff. I don't really use it that often. I used it at the start, but now I don't really. And you were able to have storage, like 10 gigabytes or something with the storage and stuff as well, and with in terms of the camera, for me, in my opinion, the photo images in this is better than the video. The video of his photos on this camera are pretty much better than video wise, in my opinion. Video is good, it's great, but photo is just way above it in terms of this camera. So if you're only taking photos of it, it's great to just be straight on. And also with this camera with this camera that Canon made, is trying to attempt for keen photographers who have used smartphones of it. So if you transform into smartphones into this camera here, it's obviously not the exact same, but it's gonna keep you not so confused. That's how I found it out. But this is my second camera, so I was like, this is when I was starting out and stuff. So in terms of the features for this, the lowest aperture this can go for in terms of the 18 to 55 would be about 4 f4, which is quite low in aperture. It's not the lowest. The lowest aperture you can probably go for is like 1.2. But in terms of lenses, it depends on the lenses. It was saying the lenses anyway. This doesn't have a built-in sensor cleaning mechanism. God, fucking movie. And this is a DSLR camera. It's not mirrorless. It's a DSLR. If you don't know what mirrorless is, I'm not too sure how to explain it, to be honest. But there's like two different types of cameras, and this one is not mirrorless. It's a DSLR one. And also with its 9-point autofocus system, it's quite easy set controls. So like once you start using this, it's quite automatic, and then once you get to the setting of manual exposure, then that's when you start getting some good, decent photos, and it'd be crispy, really. It's also got an 18 megapixel Jesus, I can't speak today. Megapixel sensor. And it's also got some good resolutions if you're making videos of 480p to 1080i resolution, which is pretty good. I didn't even realize I can do that, but that's how the lack of knowledge in terms of video for me with this camera, because in my opinion, I didn't really use this camera for videos until like 4 months ago when I started making videos. So the default auto ISO range for this camera would be 100 to 1000 to 3200, which is quite high. So I wouldn't go that high if you're going to take photos, especially at night, because it's just quite noisy. Otherwise, you can use the pop-up flash with it, which is always great. it's pretty good. The auto flash is pretty good, but I never really use it. But if you're gonna do some flash photography, it's a great way to start with. So this camera's got everything really that you want to begin with, and then that way you can actually have it to handle and stuff. This camera it's pretty sharp in terms of capturing, especially that. With long exposures and low light, there was noises, like noise effect when I was doing long exposures. Like it's quite noisy. But yeah, this Canon is not great in nighttime, but only if you have so much light. That's probably one of the reasons why. But at the time when I was starting out, it was quite noisy. Yeah, it's wasn't really that great in terms of low light. I don't know why, but yeah, it's not really that great. But in terms of daytime and stuff, it was smashing. It was absolutely smashing in comparing to nighttime. Canon produced pretty much it's a pretty lightweight thing, so it's not heavy, it's not really that big. This camera is also pretty good. The bad thing is that I found that in terms of this camera, if you're trying to make videos and you want to get a microphone, you can't fit any microphone in it. It doesn't have a it does have a hole in it, like a hole into the camera for microphones, but not the microphone I bought, which is a Rode. It won't fit any microphone in terms of what I've seen in reviews. But if you're not making videos, this camera is definitely the one for you, because photos, it's brilliant to start off with, and it's quite lightweight. You don't need to carry anything. The 1855 with it, when it comes with it, it's quite good. The files with it comes good. In terms of printing actually was pretty decent. It's just the fact that make sure to clean your camera, because the printer guy said, you obviously haven't cleaned your camera for a while, and so there was like a bit of dust in the photos, which I was quite pissed about, and I thought it was his printer, which I apologize for that printer guy, but yeah, no, it was my camera and stuff. So always make sure to clean your camera and stuff and take care of them, because they're quite costly. And for Canon at the moment, it's probably around about $600 to $500, depending on where you get it from. I don't know how much it is with the add-on of the 1855, because I got this camera for my birthday and I still actually don't know how much it was. But this camera does target beginners. So if you're looking for a camera to begin your photography, this is the one for you, because this is where I started from, and I want you to get this camera as well, because this camera is it's amazing to start off with, and then that's how I got all my knowledge of how to make videos and photos as well, and make great images and stuff. So yeah, this thing can also record to 2.1 seconds before the camera is paused, and then 7.2 seconds to progress the burst, which is for the raw files and stuff. You also take photos in RAW as well, in RAW files. But yeah, it's got good image and movie quality, which is good enough for most people. So that's also add on as well. Yeah, alrighty. That'll probably be it for this video. I hope that helped you a lot. And if it didn't, please let me know in the comments. I'll try to improve. This is just my thoughts on the camera, so I hope it helped you to either have some information between the camera and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.